Hey everyone, welcome to Jubilee. Tonight we'll be looking at Numbers chapter 13 verses 26 through 33. So Moses has led the people to the promised land. They're there, they're about ready to go over and get this land that God has promised them. Moses says we need to go over there and find out what the land is all about. So he takes a man from each tribe, there's 12 of them, he sends them over. They go over for 40 days and Moses tells them, come back and tell us about the land, tell us about the people, tell us about the food. Just go spy out the land and the people and come back and tell us. So the 12 spies go over there and they come back and they're so excited and they say, you're right, it flows with milk and honey, just like God said it would. But, there's always a but. And the scripture says, but the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. And then they go on to say other things about how intimidating and how threatening this place is. Caleb stands up and says, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can do it. But the men who had gone up with them said, we can't attack those people. They're stronger than we are. And then they began to spread even more bad reports about this promised land, to the point at the end they said, we seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them. So what do we take from this passage tonight? First of all, what did the men forget? Who did the men forget? They forgot God. Caleb remembered God, and we're going to see later Joshua remember God, but of the 12 men, only 2 men remembered God. And in this passage, Caleb's the only one that speaks up and says, God is able. But my question for us is, what makes you and me forget God? What is it out there that we look out and we just see and we're so scared, we're so intimidated, and we just become panic-stricken and become frozen because we just think there's no way that we can deal or overcome whatever's out there. And we forget God. What makes you forget God? And will you choose to remember that God is with you and God is bigger than anything that's out there that intimidates you or scares you? Secondly, how was Caleb different? Caleb was different because he had faith. He believed that God was who God was and God was going to do what God said he was going to do. He had faith. He didn't put his faith in men, he put his faith in God. And my question with that is, who is that person in your life that's a Caleb? Who is that person that no matter how down times can get, how discouraging times may be, but that person you can always count on to point you to God and to remind you that God is able? Who is that Caleb in your life? And if you know a Caleb in your life, why don't you just take some time and thank that person for being there to always keep you grounded and keep your eyes on God. And then lastly, how might God be calling you to be a Caleb? Who is it in your life that needs to be reminded that God is able? Who is it that needs someone to be able to stand up amongst all the other people that are the naysayers and say, whoa, 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 God can do it. And I'm here to show you and tell you that God can and God is able. Who is it that needs you to be a Caleb? And will you be a Caleb for them? All right, guys, have a good evening. Talk to you next time. Bye.